With a huge appearance potentially set for Elimination Chamber and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Going over the positives from his recent WWE release, Mansoor said on X, "One silver lining to getting fired is having the motivation to stay in the best shape of my life. Their loss is my gains." Noting why he and Bianca Belair like keeping their relationship off of WWE programming, Montez Ford told a Happy Hour, "Our relationship is something that we kind of just keep off onto the sidelines. We both respect and love our marriage and the privacy and everything, but also keeping it off screen does open up more doors for just individual things. She can do individual things. I can do individual things too." Mentioning his plan for his final match in pro wrestling against Chris Jericho, Lance Storm told Chris Van Vliet, "That's sort of the running joke between us because we've over the years made a pact because our very first match was against each other. We did like a 10 or a 15-minute draw, I don't remember which, in Pinoca, Alberta out here, and I've always contended that it would be cool, especially because we know each other still, to do our last match with each other too and have us both bookend our careers. I keep joking with him, it's like, dude, you have to retire at some point or I'm not going to be able to do it. You know, you got to retire inside the next 5 or 10 years, dude, or I'm not going to be, I don't want to do it at 75. On his Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross revealed this about Linda McMahon's presence on WWE programming. Linda didn't have any desire to be on television, but she was a key component in the way the story was being told. She was the matriarch of this McMahon clan, so she had a role there. It was logical. It made sense for her to be in this group picture, this family portrait, shall we say, but I don't think she ever had a desire to be on camera. Bringing up the success she has had with her OnlyFans page, former WWE star Mandy Rose told TMZ, "It's been amazing. Financially, I've been doing really well. And honestly, personally, and mentally, I've been doing amazing. I have so much more time to spend with my family and just get involved in more things that I never thought I'd get involved in. It's been kind of life-changing. I really must say I'm really blessed, but I will say that I have a lot of financial freedom right now, which is really amazing. That's why I'm so grateful that I'm able to help my family right now and kind of rejuvenate their business they got going on and just continue with my future. So it's been pretty lucrative, not gonna lie." In a video, Ricky Starks can be seen interacting with a fan at AEW Collision as the person in attendance accused Ricky of his spot with Bryan Danielson of being fake.
No! Come on, Danielson!
Noting an NXT star that will be on Raw tonight, BWE posted on X that everyone excited for Dragon Lee tonight, expect a huge performance. Regarding plans on Raw tonight for Nia Jax, Ringside News wrote that Zoe Stark was aligned with Trish Stratus, but they ended that partnership at Payback. Becky Lynch beat Stratus in a steel cage match, and then Stark finished things with the WWE Hall of Famer afterward. Now she is out on her own and ready for a big challenge ahead of her. BWE posted on his X account to let fans know a little spoiler on Raw this week. It was noted that Zoe Stark is set to meet Nia Jax. That being said, there is also also a big push planned for Zoe Stark on the red brand. Zoe meets Nia, strong show off, big push for Stark. WWE released Nia Jax during the pandemic, but she was brought back. Jax was actually signed by Vince McMahon as one of his first plays with talent when he returned to his duties. When it comes to Sami Callihan's Impact Wrestling contract status, Sean Ross Sapp said that Fightful Select has learned that former Impact World Champion Sami Callihan's Impact contract is up in just under a week at the end of September. Callihan has been with Impact Wrestling since 2017, and there is believed to be interest from both sides on possibly re-signing. However, sources close to the situation say that Callihan is able to speak with other wrestling companies. PW Insider added that currently the two sides, while still amicable, have not yet agreed to terms for a new deal. Callihan will be a free agent as of October 1st. We have heard there is already interest in him from multiple companies, not just as a talent but in other roles, which I would take to mean as a producer or agent. With LA Knight testing positive for COVID-19 and missing SmackDown due to this, Dave Meltzer said on F4W Online, normally WWE will only announce a no-show if it's a Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins level wrestler, which tells you how highly they consider Knight. WWE also told media outlets Friday night about Knight, and I can't recall that being done in the past either. I don't know if this is a new policy with the new owners, because obviously in any form of entertainment you would tell the fans and media in advance about a star not appearing. Sticking with LA Knight, this was said about the current plan for him in WWE. As Ringside News wrote, we previously reported that LA Knight was pulled from SmackDown just before the show this week. He popped positive on a COVID test, and that caused his premature exit from the building. Now it appears that if he can clear up that COVID, he has a big match in line at Fastlane. LA Knight was supposed to be a part of John Cena's segment on SmackDown, one where they booked his Fastlane match during the Grayson Waller effect. During Wrestling Observer Radio, it was said that LA Knight will likely be seen as partner of Fastlane if he can test negative for COVID. LA Knight and John Cena is in theory the pay-per-view main event, Dave Meltzer noted. Then they made it very clear that this is pending LA Knight recovering from his positive COVID test in time. At this time, there are a number of ways they could go with things. AJ Styles was placed in that tag team match as John Cena's partner, but then the Bloodline beat the stuffing out of him backstage. Only 3 men signed that Fastlane contract after that: Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and John Cena without a partner. Only time will tell if LA Knight gets back to SmackDown and finds a way to insert himself into that match. If that happens, then AJ Styles needs to play off that injury angle, or he could just act very afraid of the Bloodline, which isn't likely considering his character. For a Q&A on adfreeshows.com, Eddie Kingston confirmed he signed a new deal with AEW, saying, "If you notice, you haven't heard anything about me with a contract because I did my on the low. My thing was coming up. I got 4 more years. I'm straight. No one needs to know how much. No one needs to know how long. I got my and I'm going to be there for a minute because there is nowhere else I want to be." Giving an update on R-Truth and his injury, Steve Carey of Ringside News wrote, "R-Truth has been out of the ring since November 2022 when he was injured during an episode of NXT. Ringside News can't confirm he is medically cleared and ready to go whenever WWE needs him." Speaking of injuries, this was said about Sheamus on Wrestling Observer Radio. By the way, Sheamus really bad shoulder injury. That's why he has not been on TV or at house shows. Touching on what is to come for Randy Orton, Steve Carrier noted that Randy Orton is on his way back to WWE. That is a fact. We can confirm that. Whether Matt Riddle was released or not, Creative never had any plans in place for another RKBro run. When it comes to the possibility of CM Punk returning to WWE, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that there's a lot of people with bad feelings in management about CM Punk in WWE, but there's nobody in management with a bad feeling about Matt Riddle. Talking about Matt Riddle potentially winding up in AEW after his release from WWE, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, Matt Riddle, there's Mustafa Ali who could help a lot. I think Matt Riddle potentially could, but you're rolling the dice, no doubt about it. Saying this about how a WWE legend could be making his way to the upcoming event in Australia. The West reported that, adding to the speculation is the fact that WWE was recently sold to Endeavor. There is a strong suggestion the company, which also owns the UFC, wants its first WrestleMania in charge to be an absolute showstopper. As a result, there is talk The Rock might very well wrestle in Perth at the Elimination Chamber in February on his way to WrestleMania to face Reigns 2 months later. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.